Tonight what I want to do is take a second and do a quick overview of the differences between an AK-47, which you see up top, and the AK-74, which you see bottom. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube about the AK-47 and the AK-74 in separate videos, but I haven't really seen much of anything kind of highlighting the differences between the two. They're, for the most part, pretty subtle differences, but there are some. The first thing you'll notice, looking at the back of the rifles, the stocks, at the bottom there on the 74, you'll notice it has the lightning cut in the stock, which really the only thing that does is kind of serve to give you an immediate visual differentiation between the two rifles. When the 74s came out, originally I believe they had wooden furniture, and so looking at the 47 and the 74 together, they would look almost identical without that. So the Russians decided to relieve some wood off of the stock of the 74 just to give a visual and tactile method of differentiating between the two guns. Outside of that, next thing you'll notice is probably going to be the magazines, which you see right here. The 74 is on the right and the 47's on the left. Due to the different calibers, the 47 being a larger case, the magazine had to be a little bit more curved in order for the rounds to feed reliably, whereas with the 74 it was a round that is almost comparable to the 5.56 round, which enables a straighter magazine to be used. So while we're on the subject of calibers, obviously the AK-47 fires the 7.62 by 39, and the AK-74 fires the 5.45 by 39. Internally, these guns are, for the most part, very similar. The only things that have been changed between the two is the bolt face of the 74, and obviously the chamber and the barrel diameter are all smaller to accommodate the smaller round. You basically went from a 30 caliber projectile to something close to a 22 caliber projectile to compete with the 5.56 round. As far as forends go, obviously my 74 is kind of modified a little bit, but other than if you take away the Ultimac rail and the sight and put on the original stuff, it's going to look very similar to basically just a plastic version of what's on the 47 or polymer, excuse me. Just ahead of that, you've got the gas blocks, which there's actually a good bit of visual difference between the two gas blocks. On the AK-47, you've got more of a 45-degree angle, whereas with the 74, it's almost a 90-degree angle, if not a 90-degree angle. So that's one quick way of visualizing those. Nowadays, with the different stocks and everything that you can put on these rifles, and given the fact that the furniture on both rifles are actually interchangeable, it's kind of hard just to look at one and say, yeah, that's a 47 or that's a 74. Another thing, obviously, out front, when you're talking about the standard AK-74 configuration, you'll get a muzzle brake that looks something like this, and obviously that's going to look something like that. Whereas with the 47, you're either going to have just the flat muzzle of the gun, or this 45-degree slant brake. Those are just some of the differences. Outside of that, most of it is actually pretty identical. I wouldn't go so far as to say it would be interchangeably, especially the internal parts, but it's very close. Um, so just to kind of recap, you've got the lightning cut in the stock, and then the magazine, the caliber, and then a couple little things up front, the gas block and the muzzle devices that are used. Um, if you're in the position of trying to decide between which of these guns to buy, and especially if it's your first rifle, I would or if it's going to be your only rifle, I would definitely recommend going with the 47, just because you're going to end up having ammo more available to you. The 74 ammo is actually a good bit cheaper than the 47 ammo, but you're pretty much looking at least in my area, buying it offline. And pretty much the same story with the magazines for the 74, and that's assuming you can even find them online. I know here lately there's been a freeze on importation or something that has caused them to be very hard to find, and the prices have skyrocketed. I mean, you're looking somewhere $25-$30 for just your standard polymer magazine, whereas with these you can buy these for like $10-15 all day long. And I mean, there's really, one doesn't function any better than the other. It's just one is almost almost a collector's item if you can find those. So I would go for the AK-47 if it's going to be, maybe a survival rifle or something along those lines, or if it's just your only rifle and you actually want to get to shoot at some. The 74s are awesome. The recoil is a lot more manageable than the 47. Not saying that the 47 is unmanageable by any means, but it's going to be much milder. And it's really a pleasure to shoot, but the ammo's harder to come by. But there again, it's usually going to be cheaper when you can find it, so it's kind of a trade-off, really. But anyway, that's just some of the quick differences between the two rifles. I mean, what can you really say? The AK platform is awesome. I've had ARs in the past, and personal opinion, my pick goes with the AK. I've wish-washed back and forth, and here as of late I've pretty much committed completely to the AK being my favorite rifle. So I mean, that's just kind of my 2 cents. You're more than welcome to disagree with me if you'd like to, but anyway, as always, I think that's pretty much all I've got to say about this. If you guys have any questions, just send me a PM or something like that, and thanks for watching.